Hey y'all, this is the second edition of my vlog that is just my processing vlog, talking about being unemployed, talking about how I'm processing the feelings that come along with that, and talking about my job search and things like that are going on in my life. Right now I am still unemployed. And since my last vlog when I talked about rejection, I honestly have still been in that process of pulling myself out of a rut, and it really sucks. It does. And it's hard because it's a little depressing that you try so hard and you put out all these applications and then you're just not hearing anything back, and it's really frustrating. And even when you hear things back, you get told you don't have the right qualifications. One of the things I did recently was that I did reach out to one of my friends. He had a similar career path as me as far as having worked in higher education, and he now works as a corporate trainer for Groupon, which is really one of the things that I'm really interested in doing in the future. When I worked in campus in the residence halls and I was supervising RAs and planning their training every summer, the last school that I was at was a smaller school and there was only like 3 of us in my position, so really I had a lot of control over that training program. And I really enjoyed that part of my job. I always enjoyed that part of my job, and I always enjoyed bringing on those new employees and teaching them about their role and teaching them diversity and inclusion, to crisis response, to conflict mediation. I had to do all of those things to get an RA ready for what they would encounter in their role as a first responder, as someone who students went to when they weren't getting along with their roommates, all that kind of stuff. So I really liked that, and that was something that was really helpful to me. We talked about what I maybe need to change in my resume to really gear it towards a training type of position. For most of the positions I applied for, they're very similar to the ones I've had in the past. I didn't really have to do a lot of fine-tuning in my resume in order to make it applicable for those jobs. And now I'm really looking at that and deciding, okay, I really need to take a look at this and figure out, do I really want to do this anymore? And I don't know that necessarily property management and being a manager is the role that I really want to do in the future, but I know that I like working in property management and I like working in higher education. The other thing that's coming up right now for me is that I'm going on a trip. I did have COVID-19 6 months ago, right when California shut down, and I am a little concerned about the potential that I could get reinfected now that it's been so long since then. But I'm gonna make sure that I take all of my precautions into account when I go on this trip. When I'm on the airplane, making sure I have hand sanitizer, my mask, and I'm taking all the precautions that I need to take. As you know, I'm unemployed, so for the most part, I'm not really paying a whole lot for this trip because I had some unused frequent flyer miles. However, I also applied for global entry and pre-check in August of 2019, and then in March of 2020, I finally got conditionally approved and could schedule my interview, which I did for June, and then June came and it got canceled and rescheduled for June of 2021. But the caveat to that is you can still do your interview if you're arriving from an international flight. So I'm going to Ohio to visit my family because my youngest niece is turning 1, and I'm also going to make a couple other visits to a few of my other really good friends from college and high school to see them as well, because it's been a long time since I have seen them, and some of them have kids now that I've never met. Wanting to see them, also, again, being careful, and I've been safe and I'm unemployed, so it's not like I'm around customers or people all that much right now. I'm going on this flight. My flight to Ohio actually is kind of crazy because I wanted to arrive in an international flight, and since I'm in San Diego, a lot of times if you want to fly anywhere in Central or South America, the cheapest thing you can do is when you go down to the border, right across the border from the Tijuana airport, you can literally enter into a terminal, walk over the border and directly into the airport from the United States side. You can even park on the United States side. It's actually kind of a cool thing. So I'm gonna go Tijuana to Mexico City to Atlanta to Columbus. And when I'm in Atlanta, I have a 5-hour layover to go through customs and then to do my interview and just get it taken care of and out of the way. Part of me is a little nervous about this trip. I don't always have the best relationship with my family, and a large part of that has to do with me being gay. When I'm there, I feel like the only way that I'm accepted is if I'm acting as a version of myself that doesn't really exist. I often come home just feeling a little bit depressed and not so great about myself because I have to be something that I'm not for the entire time I'm there. Plus, it's a small town in Ohio, and that's making me nervous in our current climate, especially as we get closer to this election, because everything is so heated, and so I'm always having to be highly aware of my mannerisms when I'm there, which makes me really uncomfortable because I feel like if I make a misstep, then something bad could happen to me, and that's not a good feeling to feel when you're supposed to go to the place where you spent a large chunk of your childhood. I'm excited to get out of this current rut that I'm in so that I can have a period of readjustment and really refocus in on what I want to do, what I want to accomplish, and really get my name out there for some jobs that I'm really excited about. Again, y'all, I'm really stoked that you're sticking in here with me, that you're watching my videos. So if you could do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to my channel, keep up with the adventure. I'll be updating y'all on how this whole thing with my family goes. I'm really, like I said, I'm a little nervous about how this is gonna happen and what it's gonna be like being at home right now. And I'll kind of reflect on traveling during COVID, just so that if you have any potential plans that you're thinking about in the future, you can kind of gauge those based off of my experience traveling during this whole situation. Thank you all for watching my video. I hope you have a chance to make someone else's day great, along with making your own day great. Have an awesome one. Talk to you later.